Hello and welcome everyone to another set in Alchemy League, another two sets in Alchemy League. We've got Oladushek versus Kitsa and Snappy versus Chanchilaru. Alchemy League is an Age of Empires 2 1v1 round-robin tournament. We try to play it on custom maps as often as we can make them, but it has a number of unique qualities, the first being standard victory condition, easiest to explain, as well as a sort of staggered Swiss system for matchmaking. I'm very proud of our system. I think that it is the best in the world. So let's go and talk about the matches here. I try to select these players so that we have unique players across all four games that we'll be casting tonight, as well as unique maps. So Oladushek versus Kitsa, and this is round 3 of the first sprint of the league. They'll be playing on Shimmerpool, and then their second game will be on Confluence. Shimmerpool is the map of that round, and then they took turns discarding maps until only one remained, and that one was Confluence, so that's what they'll be playing on. In the second set, we'll see Snappy versus Chanchilaru, and they're playing in round 4, so their first game will be on Lagoon Forest, and then after this, their discard, they determined that they would play on Gugong for the second game. So we'll talk a little bit more about the civilization drafts later, but I will introduce the players now. So, Kitsa and Oladushek, upper 1700s for Kitsa. I remember when Kitsa was like a 1200 player, but he's gotten very good since a few years ago when he played in the King of Ireland tournament. And then Oladushek is just shy of 2K here. He's around a 2K player, 1900 to 2K. And then Snappy, a little over 2K, and Chanchilaru is also even less over 2K, but you got to watch out for Chanchilaru. He found us in Alchemy League Season 4, and he's very good at this. So Chanchilaru is highly feared. at his elo. So is Oladushek, actually, but for a different reason. So we're talking about upper 1700s to 2K, basically, players tonight, with a larger elo difference between Oladushek and Kitsa than between Snappy and Chanchilaru. Let's go over the draft for Oladushek and Kitsa, knowing that they'll be playing on Shimmerpool and Confluence. Shimmerpool is a lot like an Oasis-style map, and Confluence is... how do I describe Confluence? I guess it's a lot like Highland and Black Forest combined into one. So the draft randomly bans 5 civilizations at the start, and then they each globally ban 2. And then they pick 2, snipe 1, and then pick 2 more, I believe. And Oladushek was left over with the Berbers, the Portuguese, and the Japanese. And Kitsa was left over with the Saracens, the Hindustanis, and the Malayans. So these are their potential drafts that we'll see. So having introduced the players, the maps, the civilizations that are available to them, let's jump into the game. Alright, let's see. So, this is Shimmerpool by TechChariot. That is me, yours truly. Alchemy League Season 6 was an open map contest kind of competition. So, there's no, necessarily particular theme for the maps. It's just whatever the map makers had. And we're like, yeah, this could probably meet your requirements. This is what we'll play on. We are on a desert version of Shimmerpool. But which is actually more classic. It's more similar to the original version of this map, which is actually Karga. Karga was made years ago for the World Desert Championship, but it was never used in the championship, unfortunately, because at the time the technology did not exist to arrange the players with a standard start around the lake. They had to have a nomad start in the corners, and that wasn't very popular at the time. But since then, the map has been upgraded with town centers, a standard placement scheme, as well as multiple biomes. So some castings on this have shown all kinds of different biomes. There's a Chinese biome, there's an African biome, there are a few temperate biomes, there's a pine forest biome. So lots of fun stuff. Just the map is enough of a classic at this point that it kind of deserves to have multiple biomes, similar to many of the standard maps. So it's basically an Oasis-style map, except there is a little bit of fish, and the forest is all broken up. So you can come in through here, and you can walk through this, and you can cause all kinds of mayhem to your opponent if that is what you want to do. It may look like a passive map, but that is not true at all. People that say that this is a campy map are not telling the truth or not paying attention. So here's why this is not a campy map. Rule number 1, all of your wood lines are forward. So you're back here. There's a big open space, challenging to wall this. You don't want to wall this. It would be a huge investment of wood to wall this. You could potentially fight over water if you want. Usually players will choose to dock. Oladushek has chosen to dock here. He's going to build himself a dock as the Japanese. It makes a lot of sense. Japanese fishing ships work faster and have more health than the fishing ships of other civilizations. Back to the map, though. You might think, oh, I'll just wall it up, and you could probably do that in here. You could wall this up a bit. The problem is you can't wall to the edge because there's too many lions. And you could send 6 villagers to fight off all these lions, but it would just be a huge investment, and then your opponent would just kill you because the 6 villagers that they would have sent to wall to fight lions and then wall are working and doing useful things and creating military units. So scouts can always slip past these lions, and archers can just micro these lions down. The lions have a hard time pathing and attacking military units properly that are slipping through these trees. So the lions are really not an impediment to military. That and the military can just slip through here. But they do prevent you from walling. So this map is extremely open, even though it doesn't look like it. So let's talk about the civilization choices for these guys. Oladushek is playing as the yellow Japanese. I love the Japanese on this map. I think it makes a lot of sense. Your mining camps are cheaper, and that's good because and your lumber camps are cheaper, and your mills are cheaper, and that's good because there's lots of like small patches of resources around here. And so it could be more efficient for you to build new mining camps or lumber camps and progress them around the map. You can see that there's some stone back here, so Oladushek could fuel a tower rush more cheaply if he wanted to. He could get started a little bit sooner. He could build a mining camp back here for half the price. They have excellent infantry. Japanese tower rushes are common because of their Castle Age unique technology Yasama, which gives them additional arrows. So Oladushek he's gotten his economy on its feet. He's pushed in his zebras, and now he's coming out to scout the map. Oh, looks like he has not. Oh, there he is. Okay. And of course there's a villager coming along because it's Oladushek. So Oladushek is from Belarus. He's been with us for a while, so we know him pretty well. And Oladushek loves to build these annoying buildings that are in somewhat illogical, not illogical, but just like weird locations that you don't want to think about and don't want to have to deal with. So he's just going to build a dock here instead of building it on his own side. And he picks a fight here with Kitsa. So this is a good find for Kitsa. Kitsa now knows that this dock is here. He knows that his opponent is going into 2 docks. And so he'll have to be prepared to deal with that. And Kitsa is going to add another dock himself, believing in the need to contest water. Kitsa is from, I believe, Mexico. He's one of our Latin American players. I know that for sure. Oh, Oladushek getting a face full of arrows there on his scout. And he's got to withdraw. The scout has 1 HP. Kitsa actually might be able to trap that here. This is kind of a maze. But it looks like Oladushek is going to get away for the time being. So both players hit Castle Age around the same time. And presumably we're going to see fire galleys coming out at the same time. The objective is to just fight water for now. I think that's what they're going to do. So Kitsa's in the jungle looking for Oladushek's scout, but Oladushek is far out of there. So Oladushek with the first fire ships out, burninating Kitsa's fishing ships. Kitsa's making a few fire galleys of his own, but they may not be here in time. And see, look at these Japanese fire ships have 120 HP. So by the time Kitsa actually could repair this fire ship, which would be pretty funny. Yeah, he's going to repair the fire ship. That is really funny. But unfortunately, the villager's getting burned, so he has to withdraw. Kitsa tries to block the flames, and Oladushek is going to block and shank down the villager. That's a pretty smart play there, pretty quick. And now Kitsa's lost his repair villager, which is unfortunate. So Kitsa's going to build a barracks, and I'm not exactly sure what the goal of this barracks is. Kitsa is playing as the Hindustanis. They're more known for their cavalry and their camels. They got those gulams, which are really good against archers. So he's got a lot of good options. I personally think Hindustanis are somewhat OP, given all of their civ bonuses, but they have been nerfed. They are the reincarnation of the Indian civilization. So now that Oladushek has... Oh, that was an amazing demolition shot. Look at that. So Kitsa very smartly building a demolition raft and using it to blow up all 3 of Oladushek's fire galleys. The fire galleys were kind of trapped in between this reed and this dock. And so he was able to... Yeah, and Oladushek says nice. It was like fish in a barrel. So, unfortunately, Kitsa lost all of his fishing ships, but fortunately for Kitsa, he managed to kill all of Oladushek's navy with a single demolition raft, which is quite impressive. So he's making a couple more fire galleys now, and now he's going to go hunt down Oladushek's fishing ships. I don't know if Oladushek is going to do anything to respond to that. Yeah, it looks like Oladushek is going to respond. He's building fire galleys of his own. Of course, these fishing ships are just going to take forever to take down. They have 120 HP after all. So Kitsa pulling back. He's trying to micro the fire galley. Manages to get a kill, and he has a little bit of an HP advantage here as well. So Kitsa's made another demolition raft, but I feel like now is not a good time to use it. Well, whatever. Because Oladushek is just building another demolition ship, and Kitsa has preemptively towered his gold. He does not want Oladushek messing with him. If we look at Oladushek's exploration here, we can see that he's pushing out across the map with some outposts. I don't know if Oladushek is going onto the stone. No, he has not gone onto the stone yet. So Oladushek is kind of limited in what he can make with regards to towers. If he wants to tower rush, he's going to have to come out here to this stone, but it is a little bit exposed. So, and it's not like you can build outposts up here to keep an eye on. You'd have to build them in front to monitor what your opponent is doing. Oladushek finding a bonus goat here. Probably not going to donate that to his opponent, but these outposts will help him keep an eye on what Keats is doing. He's actually going to shank these skirmishers with the villagers. It makes sense. I mean, the skirmishers are very bad against villagers at this stage in the game. They don't have the upgrades to really do any damage. Now, if you're in Castle Age and you've got skirmishers, you know, well, really any Castle Age unit, even skirmishers, will hurt villagers a lot. So Oladushek is going to get the armor so that he can fight the skirmishers maybe a little bit more effectively. And he's made a few skirmishers of his own. So he's got the villagers here to kind of tank the arrow fire, I guess, and then he's got his own units to do damage. And he's building another archery range, so he definitely doesn't want to remove the pressure from Kitsa. So meanwhile, he's still fishing. Kitsa's still fighting him. Let's uncheck the fog of war. Oh no, Kitsa, send this fire galley to work. Oh, he forgot about it. So Kitsa is a little bit distracted. He's fighting Oladushek over here. It looks like he sent villagers of his own in. And there's kind of been a little bit of a melee here. Let's see, we got a dead spearman, a dead archer, a dead skirmisher. Alright, Kitsa coming over here to shank this down. And Oladushek just being super annoying, taking map control, lighting up this area, keeping an eye on Kitsa. The gold can be somewhat weak here. Now, does Kitsa know about another gold? That might be where he's going. So Kitsa knows that there's a gold here. And no, this is Kitsa's only gold, so he needs to make enough skirmishers to secure this. He does have 2 archery ranges, so he just needs more skirmishers, but actually Kitsa's building a market instead. So the gold is important for being able to build fire ships. So here comes Oladushek. He's going to build another outpost in this location, just to give him a little bit more vision to keep a direct eye over this gold mine. Kitsa advancing his lumber camp. And yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. Oladushek is applying a great amount of pressure to him. Maybe he gets to the next stage, though. He had a bunch of extra wood. I think he just sold it. But no, Kitsa calls the GG. He's in trouble. Oladushek has archers on his gold, and it wasn't well enough defended. He built a tower on his wood, but the wood is forward and the gold is backward, so you can never really do both. Maybe if he had more skirmishers out, it could have been different, but the first game goes to Oladushek. So Oladushek with 17 kills, 16 deaths actually. You know, so statistically it's kind of close. He was just in a better position. He raised 2 buildings and lost none. Largest army of 13. So food, wood, and gold collected, all better for Oladushek. Neither player collected stone. And Oladushek was up to the feudal age slightly faster. And he had more technologies, and he explored more of the map too. Villager high of 40 for Oladushek compared to 35 for Kitsa. So Oladushek was slowly killing Kitsa off. Now we're going to look at the second of their 2 games. It's Play All 2. And it is on Confluence. Yes, I would like to proceed. Confluence was made by Jasuni. It was based off of some work that he had done on a previous map that wasn't used because we sort of set aside that concept because we didn't have enough programmatic stuff figured out for that season of the league. So he brushed it up and he made for us this Black Forest styled map with pretty thick wood lines and players that start close together. So I mean, look at this. This is just about as close as it gets, I think, on this map. And laming, laming could happen. Oladushik is playing as the yellow Berbers, and Kitza is playing as the red Saracens. So I'd like both of these civilization choices. The river's important. It's not everything, but it is important. We've got some fish here. You can fish in the river. There's not a ton of fish, but there's enough fish. There's enough to justify making fishing ships. So we could see some naval action. We probably will see some naval action. But you can just as easily make a barracks or an archery range or something and invade your opponent's backyard and kill their lumberjacks. That is also a viable path to victory. Oladushik is building this dock with 2 villagers. Wow, that is quite a bit of dedication here from Oladushik. This dock actually comes before a lumber camp. This is a very early dock. I don't know that this dock is a good idea, but I mean, Oladushik is close to 2K, so he definitely knows what he's doing. But he wants to get a fishing ship out as soon as possible. He wants to get that economy lead, and he's going to do that. And, you might be able to get away with something like this for Berbers because Berber villagers walk faster. So maybe it could be more efficient for them to chop these straggler trees and derive some wood that way. But, boy, without a lumber camp, it's pretty dicey to be able to maintain fishing ship production from a dock. So I don't think he'll build more than 1 or 2 fishing ships from this dock before stopping fishing ship production so that he can afford a lumber camp. Because, you run out of wood here and you're kind of in very big trouble. You have to walk a long ways to the forest, which, hurts Berbers less than other civilizations. But you can see that Keats is only now just building his dock because he built his lumber camp first. I like how he builds this dock, right here next to the fish. And then you can also kind of wall this crossing off here. This is a strategic dock location, which I appreciate. So Saracens, their galleys fire faster, and for the Berbers, their ships move faster. So the Saracens have, I guess, harder hitting ships in a way, the more damage output because they're firing faster, whereas Berbers ships are better at taking the fights. They can decide whether or not they wish to engage. If they do not want to fight you, they will just sail away from you. Now, unlike an island-style map, there's not really, there's not a lot of opportunity to sail away. Like, if you're here, I guess you can go this way, you can go toward this edge, or you can go toward the center of the map from this fight. And I guess down here, there is some variability in terms of branches and, which branch your opponent is in. So there's some choice for the Berbers. I don't want to say their bonus is useless, but it would be more useful on an island-style map. But I don't think Oladushik is... I really don't think Oladushik has chosen Berbers for their naval options. We all know that Oladushik loves camel archers. So I think that Oladushik has chosen Berbers for camel archers. Kitza, again, getting a good hit on Oladushik's scout and turning the tables on him. So now Kitza is the one that is chasing Oladushik off. So let's see. Both players are actually on their way up to the feudal age at basically the same time. They could even have mirror builds of each other. You can see that Oladushik has built a lumber camp. I would love to see Kitza sneak a villager back here and build an archery range. And we've seen players do that. It was highly entertaining, actually. Great fun. But it doesn't look like he's set up to do that right now. Let's see if we can figure out what Kitza is going to do. He's got 3 on gold. So I think that we're just going to see Kitza build another dock, and he's just going to go mass navy. And I think these players are just going to make ship. Yep, there's the dock right there. They're going to make ship after ship after ship. It looks like Oladushik is preparing to make a second dock as well. He's got this villager walking along the shoreline, and I don't think she's there for just a romantic stroll. I think he's going to go and build a dock in a weird place the way that he likes to. In fact, he's probably going to build it on... look at that village. He's probably going to build it on Kitza's side of the river for no reason. Just to make Kitza question life. Oh no, maybe this is a sneak village, but it's not very sneaky because it stumbled upon Kitza's Oh! Oh no! Oladushek, this is amazing. Alright, so Oladushek has walled in Keats' villager, and now he's gotta run away. And Oladushek's scout was supposed to be here to help the villager, but I guess the villager has to withdraw. And Oladushek, what is this? What is this? He's trying to get away. He's trying to get away. Oh, he fails. So Kitsa manages to trap him. That's a good win for Kitsa, actually. He manages to kill a villager of Oladushek's and Oladushek's scout from this. Sure, his wood line is less efficient now. He had to build a house, a couple of extra houses, actually. But if you're Kitsa, you take that trade any day. And it feels good, too, because Oladushek has a big elo advantage over Kitsa. Alright, so Oladushek he's already built a second dock over here, and he's building a third dock. So I guess that villager was not a dock building villager, that was a tower rushing villager, probably. Oladushek probably intended for this villager to build a couple palisades here, perhaps, and then tower. Tower of the lumber camp. So now we're going to see a brawl for the water. Kitsa with the 2 docks, Oladushek with 3. So it'll be hard for Kitsa to keep up with this. Unless Oladushek can't afford to produce from 3 docks. But it looks like, I don't know, alright, he's only making from 2 docks right now. So, violent fireship fight. I'm actually really not a big fan of how water is done in Age of Empires, but, you know, because Alchemy League is all about making pretty maps, in addition to making competitive maps, our maps have a lot of water, because water's pretty. Alright, Kitsa chasing Oladushek off. No, you can't fight this, Kitsa. There's a fire ship here. He's got to withdraw, but he doesn't catch it in time. He wanted to deny Oladushek's dock here. Some demolition rafts could be pretty dicey to deal with. A demolition raft can come right along and just blow up villagers. Alright, Oladushek really wants this dock to happen. Look, he sent his villager over to finish it. Oh, no, no, Kitsa, no. Yeah, he's got to get out of here. Alright, so that dock does go up. I think Kitsa should have sent his fire galley to blow up this villager. I think that would have been a lot more effective. And Kitsa, out of frustration, calling the GG. Oladushek just out micro. I don't know that it was over yet. Let's take a look at the villager count. I do think Kitsa over-invested into repair villagers and like villager fighting Oladushek. So villager fighting Oladushek is a lot like wrestling with a pig in the mud. After a while, you start to realize that the pig enjoys it. Yeah, let's see their villager count. 26 villagers for Kitsa and 27 villagers for Oladushek, but I think that this is also including his fishing ships, which Oladushek is kind of smartly built down here. So a couple of quick games, which are generally how Oladushek games go, one way or another. GG, well played. Alright, so Oladushek, this one is a little bit more heavily in favor of Oladushek. He gets 7 kills, loses 4, and largest army 5, but economy larger. Actually, Kitsa collected more gold. Oladushek collected slightly more wood and food. Well, actually, Oladushek collected more wood and food, and Kitsa collected slightly more gold because this difference is closer. Very similar feudal age times. Oladushek with slightly better map exploration, but otherwise very similar. Identical research count. And Oladushek with only 1 more villager than Kitsa. So it really was not over. But I don't think Kitsa realized that how much Oladushek had committed into this fireship brawl. It would have been cool to see Kitsa not try to mirror Oladushek. You know, maybe make 2 fishing ships in the beginning, take a little bit of fish, but then have a Saracen archery range back here, and then make some archers, some sneak archers, and swoop in on Oladushek's woodline or gold, because these were both totally exposed. So that could have been interesting. Well, maybe another time. So let's introduce... or reintroduce our other players. So guys, remember that we've got Snappy versus Chonchillaroo next. This is a 2K matchup. Chonchillaroo is just over 2K and Snappy is about halfway to 2K1. Let's take a look at their civilization draft. So Snappy, this is round 4, so Snappy as the host picks Lagoon Forest, and then they take turns discarding maps until only Gugong remains. So their maps are Lagoon Forest and Gugong. The admin bans 5 civilizations initially. The Romans, Italians, Gurjaras, Malayans, and Magyars. They globally ban 2 each. Bohemians and Bengalis, Malay and Saracens. And then, of course, their snipes. They're pick 2 and then snipe 1 and then pick 2 more, I believe. So Snappy left over with the Hindustanis, the Cumans, and the Japanese. And Chonchillaroo left over with the Persians, Lithuanians, and Mongols. Alright, so let's check it out. Ah! Wrong one. We need... Oh, that's interesting. They're misnamed. So their first one was played on Lagoon Forest. So we're gonna do the Lagoon Forest one first because that's what they should have played first. Okay. So Lagoon Forest, what is it? It is a map that was made by a friend of mine, Zetnus, for another tournament. Oh, it looks like a deletion here. Chonchillaroo accidentally building part of this house on the stone mine and deleting it quickly because he doesn't want the house there blocking some of the stone, which is unfortunate. Made by a friend of mine, Zetnus. He repurposed it, and then we inspected it, and we're able to use it for this season of Alchemy League. It's a cool map. It's like it's got these small rounded mounds where the player town centers are on, and most of the map is otherwise just this lush grass terrain, and then it's got these scattered lands which are lagoons, I guess you could sort of call them. Yeah, I mean, it's a lagoon forest. These are lagoons. So then finally these lagoons are interconnected with mangrove shallows, as you can see. So cool stuff. It is possible to chop through the mangroves and, fish or take the oysters or something. And then maybe in the Imperial Age you can clear out these mangroves so that cannon galleons and dromons and other kinds of ships can sail pretty much anywhere. So it's a lot like Black Forest. It's kind of a closed style map. But it has a twist that there are more options available. So Snappy, we know Snappy. I don't think that he's played in as many seasons of Alchemy League, but he did play in Alchemy League Season 1. And Chonchillaroo found us in Alchemy League Season 4. We're lucky enough to have had him join us. So he has played with us in every season since Alchemy League Season 4. And Snappy played in Alchemy League Season 1, and then he was busy. And he returned for Alchemy League Season 4, I believe, as well. But he was busy in 5, and then he's returned again for 6. So he is from Colombia, and Chonchillaroo is from Chile. So both of these guys speak Spanish. They're part of our Latin American players. So Snappy is going to harvest this wild boar meat. Let's talk about potential strategies on this map. Well, I really don't think that there are many strategies on this map. I mean, I guess maybe you could go Feudal Age. I mean, there are a lot of open channels, but it's relatively easy to wall on this map. So this map is more like Black Forest, which is a good map. But, expect that games will be a little bit longer. Players will feel a little bit more safe. Don't expect crazy 3-archer micro plays, because you're not really going to get it here, which is okay. Sometimes players like a slower paced game. They like to feel a little bit safer and build up and do their thing in Imperial Age, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, sure, I might have to tell stories and make stuff up to keep people entertained during the cast, but that's okay. That's part of my job as the caster. I'm not one of those ultra radical casters that believes that the action has to start instantly because I'm not creative enough to think of something to say. Look, guys, if there's nothing going on in the game, you can always just come here and get life advice. Like, we could talk about anything. I won't, except, like politically sensitive topics or things that could offend people. Even though I might be strongly opinionated about such topics and believe that I could defend them from chat, the purpose of the community is to unite people around our love of Age of Empires. So as long as we don't really go over like sensitive topics that could be distracting and make people mad, we can talk about pretty much anything. So I'm not worried about games being boring or anything like that. I really am not. I think it's fine. It's part of the talent of a caster, right? A caster should be able to keep the community entertained regardless of what's going on in the game. It's just if something important is going on in the game, they shouldn't be, oh, look at this. See, like this is kind of a little bit of a fail for me, right? Chunchiller built this cute little sneak dock back here, and I think this is a good idea. Actually, I don't really necessarily want to call it a sneak dock because his opponent can probably imagine that he's built it there, right? I mean, it's not that controversial. Although Snappy has sort of walled out his deep fish opportunities. I'm just looking for a similar fishing opportunity. Yeah, so Snappy's got one back here. He could do that as well. Chunchiller deciding to invest 2 fishing ships in it. Is that really worth it? I don't know. But anyway, so I was going to say, as long as the content creator is able to keep up with the basics of what's happening in the game, there's not like a requirement that they have to be talking about, like, oh, and the scout is now walking this way, and now I think this person could be doing this. Although I will say that I'm a little bit suspicious because Chunchiller is 65% of the way up to Feudal Age, and Snappy, he hasn't even clicked yet. So, but that could be fine for Snappy, because Snappy's going to have more villagers working while he advances to the next stage. So what Snappy is doing is what I would call greedier than Chonchilleru. See, Chonchilleru is going to be Feudal Age in just a few seconds. Now, what do you do with... Well, let's see what Chonchilleru does with it. It looks like he's just hunting. Is this going to be Market Blacksmith, like a 23 pop fast castle? He is making a market now, and he's soon going to have the... Alright, he has the resources to build a blacksmith, so he should probably do that. I don't know where his blacksmith would be, but... Oh, he's spending his wood on this. Alright, well, that's kind of interesting. So he's just sort of going up to the Feudal Age to get a market and, I guess, research some economic technologies. I don't know. That kind of rubs me the wrong way. That's not how I would do things. But maybe he's got a good reason for it that I just don't understand because I'm just a pleb caster. I don't know. We have to entertain the possibility that Chonchiller works in mysterious ways. Okay, so Snappy is on his way up to the Feudal Age now. He's going to have a bigger economy when he gets there. But yeah, usually you don't want to go up to the next stage unless you're going to do something with it. Unless it gets you something. Like I have this really terrible 19 pop stone walls build, where you go up to the Feudal Age on 19 pop, but instead of building scouts or archers or doing something normal, I build stone walls. I build stone walls because I need to be safe. I need to feel safe while I'm playing Age of Empires. I tend to crack under pressure and make bad decisions. And see, look at this. Snappy is on stone, but Snappy has way more villagers than... Yeah, he's doing a fast castle. So Snappy's going on stone. He's doing a fast castle. He's also on gold. I'm not exactly sure why he needs so many on gold right now. He's building a blacksmith. Okay. That's fair. I suppose that's fair. So he's going to have the resources to click up. See how Snappy took his time about going up to the Feudal Age? And so Snappy... Where's your market, Snappy? Alright, he's going to build it now. So he's going to make one more villager. And by the time that villager is complete, this market will be finished. And then he will click up. He's got the resources. Meanwhile... Chunchiller actually has already clicked somehow. It must just be the Persian eco. I mean, Persian town centers, they work faster. They start with a little bit of extra food and wood. They're an easy civilization to play. I despise Persians, actually. I mean, every Persian that I've ever met in real life has been awesome. But I just mean as a civilization. I think they're a noob civ. You know, it's just like, oh, we're going to give you some bonuses to make playing a little bit easier, but you're not actually going to be good at anything that wins games. You know, that's basically Persians. Or we're just going to give you brute strength. Like, there's no finesse with Persians whatsoever. It's just like, all right, we're just going to have tanky units. We're going to have paladins. We're going to have war elephants, and we're going to have gunpowder, and you know that's going to be our thing. And we're going to have we're going to have those commander on crossbows as well. Hindustanis I don't like much better. Again, brute strength, camels, gunpowder. You know, where's the Britons? Where's the Byzantines? Where are the Turks? Where are those, you know, refined civilizations that fight at range or that have a variety of different kind of unpredictable strategies or different units that they can go for? I guess these civilizations have the units that they need to get the job done, but I don't know, kind of boring. Power unit civilizations, as always. But they win games. They win games, and that's why these guys had picked them. So, Chanchiller has reached the Castle Age. What's the plan with Castle Age? I mean, he went up on so few villagers that probably can't afford to do much besides boom. And we see that Chanchiller is adding another town center. He's added another dock here, although he is not building fishing ships from it, and he's going to stonewall. Okay, so Chanchiller building some stone walls here. He's like, you know, geez, my opponent's been very quiet. I don't want to risk anything. I think that my opponent is up to no good, so I'm just going to build a second wall here and just make sure that my opponent doesn't surprise me. So that's what he's doing. He's got a wall here, he's got a wall here, and he's got a wall here, but he's less worried about that because... And he's got a house here, and he's less worried about this because, you know, these have plenty of hit points. Maybe they're less armored, but most importantly, they're further away. You know, like Snappy. If Snappy were to attack, the obvious direction would be from the front. Hey, Cookie Pirate, welcome. It's great that you're here. So Snappy has built himself a castle. Let's go over to Snappy's point of view and see what Snappy is doing. So he's got a castle, and he's making some of those gulams. And he's making a few fishing ships as well. Oh, okay, he's got a few docks back here, and he is fishing with the traps. So he has decided not to dock over here and take the lagoon fish. He's instead just going to take these fish, which is fine. It's good fish either way. So I'm not exactly sure what Snappy is doing with these gulams. Maybe Snappy believes that his opponent is going to attack him, and so he's going to have some military ready. But that doesn't really make any sense, because if you believe that Persians were going to attack you, why would you be making gulams? Gulams are an anti-archer unit. And Persians, well, Persians are not exactly known for their archer plays. So, you know, the presence of these gulams would suggest, especially given the fact that Snappy is making more of them and building a siege workshop now, this would suggest that Snappy is up to no good. Snappy is indeed going to attempt to surprise his opponent. Cookie Pirate says it's been a tough week. He's glad to chill for a bit. And then he has to work tomorrow evening unexpectedly. That sucks. Alright, so Snappy has deleted his walls. Yep. So Snappy is definitely planning on going on the offensive. He has built a siege workshop. See if he's got any, and he's building a siege tower. I love this. I love this! Meanwhile, what is Chanchillaru doing? Chanchillaru is booming. So let's look at Snappy's villager count. It's 41. Let's look at Chanchillaru's villager count. It's 56 and growing. So Snappy is on 1 town center and 3 dock, and Chanchillaru is on 3 town center and 4 dock. So Chanchillaru really wants to boom in peace and make a massive military. Alright, so here it goes, but Snappy's going to have to be careful. It is what it is. That's true. Snappy's going to have to be careful because there's a palisade wall here that's in the way. So the siege tower won't work if there's a palisade wall in the way. So now Snappy is sending forward a petard. I think the Saracens should get a petard bonus. I think there should be a civilization that gets a bonus petard or something like that. So here comes Snappy, and he blows up the palisade wall, and then... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The siege tower refusing to unload its units. Not working as designed. That sucks massively. Chunchillaru sees it. Snappy is upset. Yes, and it is indeed a bug. They're saying something in Spanish that I don't understand. And Snappy calls the GG. So Snappy was all in on this siege tower rush. And he comes over here and he tries. He tries, and it's even logical too. He sent the petard forward, he blew up the wall in front. And this siege tower should have worked as intended, but for whatever reason it did not. And he sent me this recording a while back and showed it to me, but there wasn't really anything that we could do. But this bug does indeed exist on other maps. Just it's a game bug in general that the developers may or may not have addressed since this game was recorded. So very unfortunate. I mean, we can try to analyze and see what would have happened here. I mean, Snappy... Let's take a look at Snappy's resources. Snappy had the resources to continue pumping out Ghulams. And if the Ghulams were in, he could have savaged this gold. He could have... Or, sorry, this stone and this gold. I mean, it's possible maybe Chunchillaru could have walled here. But it's also possible that Snappy could have snuck through. I mean, Chunchillaru, to his credit, did respond very quickly. And he sent his villagers forward to build a double wall. But let's say that Snappy had gotten in. You know, these Ghulams could have run around and done a lot of damage. Snappy's current villager count is 46. Chunchillaru's is 67. So could those Ghulams have done 20 villagers worth of damage? I don't know. It's hard to say. Probably not. But they could have allowed Snappy to get a position. You know, let's say that Snappy did have units running around uncontestedly here. Then potentially Snappy could have come forward. Maybe he could have built a castle. Maybe he could have built a siege workshop or something. And really put the hurt on his opponent. His opponent did not even have a barracks yet. So, you know, that definitely leaves time for Snappy to get a good position here. But, alas, we will never know because the siege tower failed to function as designed. Yeah, and these Ghulams had all of the armor upgrades too. So they had 5 pierce armor, and these town centers only deal 5 damage. So each arrow from the town center would have dealt the Ghulam only 1 damage per hit. So it would have required 60 hits. So these Ghulams potentially could have even started tearing down town centers. That's how good this is. Unless Chunchillaru could have quick-walled this out with some villagers on the woodline and gold, but we'll never know. So it's just too bad a game bug thwarting a good game on Alchemy League. So no units lost. It's Snappy with the largest army of 19. Oh, there was one more thing I was going to say, and that is that, you know, if Snappy had known about this bug and he knew that siege towers weren't working, he probably could have just made 2 extra petards. Because he already made 1 to get through the palisade wall, and he has the resources to make 2 more. It's almost arguable that 3 petards is similar in cost to a siege tower anyway, and the petards open up the wall permanently. So, it's just something to think about. That, it's very unfortunate. Yeah, I agree, Jasuni. They would have idled lots of eco, and they could have destroyed some docks. It would have been pretty damaging, but we'll never really know, unfortunately. So now we'll look at the second game, which was played on Gugong. So Gugong was made by Biscuits for Well, I don't exactly know what for. I think it was made for another competition, but it was work done for Alchemy League and improved. So what is Gugong? Well, it's basically like Arabia. It's our version of Arabia with two big forests like this. The presence of these two large forests, I think, makes tower rushes more viable. Although these forests for this one are in the back. So, you know, maybe tower rushes are not quite as strong here. In fact, we could almost see a player complete this stone wall to this Gaia wall here. You know, just wall right up to the edge and give themselves a little bit of extra space. Let's talk about the players. Snappy, oh, he's going to come out here and get the boars. Sometimes there are just like these different random resources, and you never really know what they are. It's one of the fun elements of the map. And Snappy has found these boars, and he wants one. So he's going to come and he's going to shoot the boar twice to make it angry. And then he's going to try to... Oh, he's quick walling. What the... What's Snappy? Oh, okay. He wants the scout to help out. And Chonchiller is following. Chonchiller would love to mess this up, but it looks like Snappy is going to get that one boar in. So Chonchiller is not too happy about that. But Snappy has managed to capture another boar. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, watch out, Snappy. Alright, he does manage to save the villager. Alright, so Chonchiller keeping an eye on these boars. He probably wants some as well. But he hasn't started on his boars yet. He sent a villager out. So Chonchiller are not to be too far behind. Let's talk about their civilizations. So Snappy is Cumans, and Chonchiller is Lithuanians. I really like this. This choice of Lithuanians. I think that this basically plays out like Arena, with a few more options. Tower rushing is a little bit better, and it's a little bit more interesting in the middle. And he's going to go... I love how he goes for the far one. Just, you know, he goes for the one that would be easier for Snappy to get. Which is really funny. Alright, here comes Snappy. And Snappy's probably going to try to mess this up. Oh, no, alright. He goes for the double boar lure. Oh, no. I don't know if he can make this happen. Snappy trying to de-aggro these boars, trying to block the villager. The boar actually does more damage to the villager than the scout does. And Snappy satisfied. One more hit on that villager, and the villager's running away. And somehow Chonchiller... Oh, no, Chonchiller, he loses a villager. But he does manage to get these two boars in. So that's the price of it right there. Is Chonchiller gets two boar out of the center, and he basically scoops up the rest of the boars. But the cost is a villager. Oh no! All right, it was almost two villagers, but he managed to reduce the cost of one villager. So Snappy is one villager ahead of Chonchiller, and one boar below him, or behind him, I should say. Snappy going to come back here and push in his deer now. You know, the scout kind of seeks the quiet life. Gugong is the Chinese name of the Forbidden City. Looks like we got a square of some gold up here with another relic. Some small forest patches, kind of like a little bit of a park. I think I do get a little bit of an unfinished feel from it, you know. But then again, you know, you could make the argument that Biscuits was he wanted to leave some space to build out here, which I can respect too. But there's a lot of parks in this Forbidden City, or maybe this area in the center is the park, and the city is around the outside where all these houses are. So Chonchiller getting this idea that he's going to push these deer in as well. And I guess it's working. He's got a sheep here, standing, holding the gate open. And yeah, in goes the deer. And in goes the sheep. And now he can push them without worrying about harassment from his opponent. So both players presumably going for a fast castle. Although Snappy might do like the fast feudal into boom, but that would be a bad idea, I think. I really think that against Lithuanians, if you go fast feudal and you make that second town center quickly, which Snappy's actually doing, that is a very, very bad idea. Yep, Snappy's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to go. So here's why. Because if you go into the feudal boom, on Arena, and your opponent fast castles and like monk rushes you or something, you are helpless. You basically cannot fight off monks with feudal age units. Not possible. You would need a lot of scouts. So we'll see what happens here, but I think this is a mistake from Snappy. I think Chonchiller is going to punish this. We'll see. Or maybe I just have Snappy. Nope, I don't have Snappy wrong. Oh, come on, Snappy, come on. At least take some map control with that town center. Like, build it right here or something. You know, build it here. Come out to the side. Maybe build it here or something. He just builds it right next to his other town center. Well, at least he'll have 2 villagers working. So there's that. But this is even more dangerous because now Chonchiller, if he is aggressive, can just use that aggression in Castle Age to take map control too. So Chonchiller is on his way up to the feudal age. Let's check Chonchiller's resources. Alright, Chonchiller is... he's going to have the resources to click up to the next stage. Actually, the fact that he is not on gold here is even more harrowing, because this is telling us that Chonchiller is planning an ultra-fast castle Lithuanian build. I mean, look at this. He went up on 22 pop. He's going to build a market. He's going to build a blacksmith immediately. He's going to sell some extra wood or stone to get his gold. He's not on gold, and he's going to go up to the castle age. So Chonchiller is going, I think he's going monks, and that's very exciting. So Chonchiller is going to show us why the Cumin boom on Arena versus a monk civ is a bad idea. Meanwhile, Snappy is booming happily. Happy-go-lucky Snappy. Snappy's actually a really nice guy. I shouldn't be really hard on him. What I like about Snappy is that he doesn't take Alchemy League too seriously. Some people like, which sometimes is a disadvantage, because people are like, come on, man, this guy won't play me. He doesn't seem, he doesn't schedule with me. But on the other hand, if Snappy loses, he just kind of shrugs it off and says, well, I had fun. And there are not a lot of 2K players out there like that. Maybe there are more than I think, but I haven't met many. Because usually when people get up to that skill level, they get super competitive. And there's some people in Alchemy League that are very competitive, and I love them for it. I love that people are taking Alchemy League very seriously. Chonchiller bringing in this boar. But it's also okay to have somebody that just likes to just try different things and have fun too. And yeah, he's going to get this boar in fine. And you can see that Chonchiller is on his way up to the Castle Age. I really hope that Chonchiller does not boom with this Castle Age. I think that would be a mistake. He has a window of opportunity here to punish Snappy's booming human greed. Snappy actually building a barracks, so I guess it's not complete and total greed. Maybe he does suspect that his opponent is going to attack him while he is still in feudal age. Oh. Alright, so 38 villagers from Snappy. How many villagers does Chonchiller have? 24. So Snappy with a big villager advantage over Chonchiller. And what is this? Alright, Chonchiller reaches the castle age. And what's he going to do with it? Ah, dah. Alright, never mind. Snappy's back in this game, boys. Snappy is back in the game. Chonchiller just going to shrug off the 14 villager lead and be like, I can outboom him. I can make 3 town centers now. That's what he's going to do. So these guys are going to boom. Ugh. Oh well. Can't have it all, I guess. So maybe Snappy will be the aggressive one. It looks like he's built a stable. Snappy is, I think, a little bit afraid of getting monk rushed. He has built that stable. I don't know what happened to his scout. Maybe he just needed a new scout. No, his old scout is over here. Okay, so he has his original scout. So exploration is not really an excuse. He built this scout because he's expecting to see monks around. So he's going to try to pick off some monks. And Chonchiller is making a monk. He's making at least one. As you guys know, Lithuanians, their monasteries work a little bit faster. So, uh-oh, Chonchiller, no, don't fight this. Alright, so Snappy has cleared out Chonchiller's scouts. So Chonchiller needs to be very careful. The scout is looking for Chonchiller. So Chonchiller has... He's found... actually has... Alright, he knows of these 2 relics right here. And that's where he's going. He sees the scout, and he's like, all right, well, I guess I can't go that way. So he heads back with the monk. +4 knights, then a monk rush. Oh, man, Jasuni, we got to show you the... we got to send you to Kapjow's monk school. The Lithuanian 20-pot monks, devastating. Devastating, especially if you're Cumans. Oh, what is this? Chunchillaru? Oh, there's a gap here. Chunchillaru not quite able to wall out this scout, and he loses his monk. I'm not really sure why Chunchillaru is... yeah, this does not make a lot of sense. I guess it's because he thought there was only the one scout. So one villager goes down, and it looks like Snappy is kind of at an early lead here. Chunchillaru realizing that he has to invest in some military because his opponent has 4 scouts that he knows of so far. Maybe more. So 43 villagers for Chunchillaru and 60 villagers for Snappy. So Snappy with a very comfortable villager lead. He's going scouts. He's going scouts. Sorry about that. I thought I heard something at my door. So he's going scouts, and he's getting being on scouts will allow him to keep a presence out here. It'll give him an idea of what his opponent has. It's like putting a finger to the pulse of your opponent's military might. And when that military might gets too bad, Snappy will stop making villagers and go up to the castle age, or he'll just do that right now. So Snappy is going up to the castle age. He's going to be able to continue making villagers from his other town center. He's got 64 villagers. And let's see what Chunchillaru's villager count is. So Chunchillaru has 52 villagers. So Chunchillaru is still behind by about 12 villagers, 11 or 12 villagers. So he's on 3 town centers to Snappy's 2. And Chunchillaru has made some spearmen. So he wants to chase these scouts off. But Snappy keeps the scouts alive. They're here just to pick off some monks. Has Chunchillaru gotten any... No, he's not gotten any relics yet. But he has some monks. So let's take a look at what Chunchillaru knows about... Oh, he only knows about these 2 relics still. So they're both fighting over the same relics. But let's count how many relics there are on the map. Actually, there's this one right here. This is a free relic for Chunchillaru, basically. He can go and get that relic anytime. Uh-oh, Snappy. Uh-oh. Alright, he loses a scout to that. There's another relic up here, so that's 4. And then 5. So, and Snappy should know about this one. I think Snappy knows where all the relics are, basically. Yeah, Snappy has found all the relics. And, uh-oh. Look at this. Look at this. Now, if Snappy can get a castle down here on all of this neutral stone, he can really mess up his opponent. And look, he sent 16 villagers to build it. So, it's not getting denied. Oh my goodness. Chunchillaru is going to try to out-castle Snappy. And here come the spearmen. Here come the spearmen to try to mess with these villagers and disrupt the castle construction. Snappy sending his scouts in to do the same, but against opponent's villagers. Castle goes up, garrison. You need to kill the villagers and prevent the castle from going up. And this is going to be... Is this going to be a doubt castle here? I think it will be. This villager is within the minimum range of the castle, which is really funny. And he's going to build it from right there. And it's not going to get denied. Oh no, it does get denied. Wow! So Chunchillaru just sending some villagers just to finish it off. And so both castles go up. So let's take a roll call of villagers now. Hey, Crazy Joe, welcome. So Chunchillaru is at 62 villagers. And Snappy is at 77. So Snappy with a big lead over Chunchillaru. And Snappy going to build another castle here. And he begins his push. So here's the thing about these rams too. This is why I love this Siege Workshop. Snappy gets access to Capped Ram. and this castle is within is within range of the other castle. So Snappy is totally preparing to go on the offensive here. He's got rams coming in. He's making petards. The petards are actually a good defensive measure against rams. Petards do bonus damage to rams. They're very good against them. These Lightus are going after the rams. And this villager is repairing the ram, which is kind of funny. And he's got this second castle here to attack the Lightus. And so this ram is also being repaired. So this is highly chaotic already. And it looks like they're going to have a fight here. People shanking rams and such. And villagers attacking castles within minimum range. Oh my goodness. This is so chaotic. I think Snappy should win, right? I mean, it's two castles against one castle, ultimately. He's got a couple of more petards in the process. And Chanchillaru is in big trouble. Oh no! This petard is not detonating. Oh, this petard, all he's got to do is walk forward and attack. Oh, that's too bad for Snappy. The petard did not attack. Alright, well this ram will take down the castle. So it looks like Snappy is going to lose one of his castles. And Chanchillaru lost his castle. So that's unfortunate for Snappy. I really don't think that should have gone down. I think that if Snappy had paid closer attention, or maybe made the right things, he could have prevented it. But this is still a win for Snappy, I think. You know, I think he's done more damage to Chanchillaru by far, and he's got the score lead. He's going to town center these berries. And if you're Snappy, you're feeling like you're in pretty good shape. You got 86 villagers to Chanchillaru somehow having 82 villagers. I guess he's kicked his boom up into turbo mode. And he's pulled his array of rams back and he's saving them for a rainy day. Castle under attack. Not yet, but it will be. So Snappy opting to raid with the Kipchak. Let's talk about late game. What do these guys do? Well, I like the Lithuanians' options late game. They've got faster trash units. They've got more powerful cavalry. Cuban cavalry is faster, but I don't necessarily know that it matters so much on this map, which is a little bit more, a little bit closer together. It's like your, raiding is less of an option on this map. Maybe not, but I feel like you start with these walls. You got these other walls out here that you can kind of wall to. You can lock things down. So I don't know that speed matters as much. Now, Snappy should totally make like 2 or 3 petards and walk over this way and bust open this wall and come in here with Kipchaks and close out the game. Chanchillaru is on his way up to the Imperial Age. Snappy is actually also going up to the Imperial Age. And it looks like Chanchillaru is ready to push the castle. Or nope. He just wanted to use his rams to fight off Snappy's rams. That's pretty funny. I think it's also a mistake for Snappy to let Chanchillaru take these resources. But Snappy, I mean, I don't blame Snappy. Like, if I'm Snappy, I'm very happy with how the game is going right now. Like, I've just destroyed my opponent's castle. I'm way ahead in villager count in the boom. It probably has a relic advantage too. Let's see. Let's change to Snappy's point of view. See how many relics he's captured. He's captured 2 relics so far, and he's bringing in a 3rd. Guys, look at the new monk skin. Snappy is taking relics. I think he's winning this one. I think Snappy has a really good chance, definitely. So these Kipchaks are actually surprisingly good against rams because of all the extra arrows that they shoot. They're trying to stand within the minimum range of the castle, which is kind of funny. The castle is not, but they're not quite succeeding. There they go. And he's actually lost a lot of Kipchaks, which is unfortunate that way. Yeah, I guess, or maybe his opponent has gotten murder holes and he didn't realize. So these are capped rams. The capped rams are working on the castle. And Snappy is getting the Cavalier upgrade. He's gone for the base of the castle. I feel like he's kind of shooting for the moon here. maybe trying to do too much. He's made a trebuchet and is unpacking it, and he's going to start work on his opponent's castle. So I guess the Rams did get some good hits in for him and give him a head start. He's got to repair his own castle, though. Chonchilaru not too far behind, though. Alright, so Snappy is preparing a lot of stables for a lot of Cavaliers. And it's a trebuchet war. I think Snappy should try to micro around and see if he can pick off some trebuchets. Oh no! He's out of houses. He just needs to get his upgrades in. He needs to build more houses. Alright, he is forcing down some houses now, and he's got another mining camp coming in. But he chooses to dive this. I think he's too early. I think he needs to wait for the final armor. But he decides to take the fight now. I mean, why fight this now? The castle's down. Just pull back. Just pull back, Snappy. No. He's losing his military. Yeah, once this castle goes down, there's no reason to take this fight anymore. Just wait until you've got what you need. These Lightus, I mean, they're not as powerful as Cavalier, unless they're fighting something that is well armored. But they are, you know, long term, they are probably more gold efficient. Alright, so Snappy deciding, yeah, we're going to get these repair villagers out of here. Snappy still has the score lead, but Chonchilaru is really taking advantage of having this space. If this castle for Snappy hadn't gone down, this castle for Chonchilaru never would have gone up. So Chonchilaru kind of punishing Snappy's small mistakes. And Chonchilaru, what's Chonchilaru planning next? I don't know if he's just going into more and more Lightus or if he's got another plan besides that. I guess he's going to get some attack upgrades. I don't think Chonchilaru has any relics. Nope. And Snappy has a lot of relics. Let's check Snappy's relic account. He's got 3. There is one relic here that Chonchilaru could easily get if he thought about it. And he is thinking about it now. He's building a monastery. So that's good. And it looks like he is interested in attacking Snappy. Oh, what? Snappy's got a monk with a relic just kind of standing here. And this gate is going to go down if he's not careful. Snappy's massing his military down here. I think he needs to build a bunch of emergency houses and palisades, though, because there's a lot of economy here that you do not want to have ransacked. And there's a castle drop here by Chonchilaru. This is an excellent castle. It basically prevents Snappy from rebuilding this monastery or reclaiming these relics. Yeah, it's an attempt to at least prevent Snappy from doing much with the relics. It's too bad Snappy's monk with relic is just standing here, though. Snappy is making some capped rams, but it's like he's perpetually housed. Look at this. He's got all the resources in the world for this level. Yeah, he could totally be making more military. All right, so Snappy is realizing what's going on. He sent his monks up and he's bringing his relics back. So he kind of accepts that this monastery is going to go down. And he could probably cancel this monk, and he needs to find this monk too. What's this? It's just a house. So this is open. His opponent hasn't come in here, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable. I would. Oh, he's got a little bit of a raid here, and Snappy building more houses in the city of Gugong. Okay, Snappy is definitely shooting for the moon. Look at this. He's getting Paladin, you guys. Snappy is going Paladins. What a flex. Is it really that point, though? I feel like... No, Snappy, no. What is this? Well, alright. He manages to entice his opponent to pull back. And his opponent doesn't want to get his trebs surrounded. But this is... I don't know. Paladin in 1v1. I don't know. It was kind of laggy when I started Capture Age up. Paladin in 1 versus 1 is a waste of gold. Some conversions. These are castle units. They should be relatively easy to convert. Snappy figuring, I don't, you know, I'm okay. I can stream my reinforcements out here. And meanwhile, he's got Cavaliers up here looking for damage. So he's going to raid. I feel like Paladin in 1v1 is a waste of gold. Like, I think they're better off as Cavaliers. But Chonchiller has the score lead. Chonchiller has destroyed a bunch of Snappy's villagers. But Snappy is still well over 100 villagers. So it's not too shabby. But it's definitely a big night fight, that's for sure. It looks like he has the resources for it to me. I mean, it's true. He does. It's true. I just feel like he could be at 200 pop with Cavaliers right now, and I feel like that would serve him better. Okay, so the Paladins are back, and they are going to chase off finally Chonchiller's Lightus army. These are elite Lightus at this point. He's going to rebuild the town center. Paladin is worthwhile if you have 40 plus Cavaliers. I don't know how many he had before. He's got 27 now. And he's got a very peaceful economy down here that I feel like it's not going to be peaceful for much longer. Yep, here comes Chonchiller. Is he gonna... Alright, looks like he's gonna focus this siege workshop. And Snappy has no siege weapons. Snappy, where's your siege? He needs to house wall this or something, because every time that he comes down here to fight off Chonchiller comes back up here and hits him from the other side. So it's kind of a disadvantage about being humans, is he can't make more stone walls. Now Snappy has managed to very smartly move his relics back. And Chonchiller has built this monastery, but he still hasn't gotten this final relic. Snappy wants to do some economic damage with his paladins. He's going to go back to the sweet spot. He can't get in on Chonchiller's main base because it's all stone-walled up. But he is going to fight this. He's going to find this, I should say. Oh, look at this veritable gold mine here. This is what Snappy needs to shut down if he can. He's going to... These paladins are fast, right? They're cumin paladins, so Chonchiller can't catch them. And I think... Okay, here comes Snappy. And there's way more... Yeah, there's 36 villagers here, so he could actually do a lot of damage here. Because this town center can only hold 25, I believe, or 15. Not a lot. So Chonchiller is going to build a castle. The disadvantage about this castle location is you can't get many villagers easily around it. But the advantage is that you might be able to wall in some of your villagers that are building it. And a lot of villager kills here for Snappy. Chonchiller's villager count is dropping. He's still over 100 though, so he's not really in too much danger. And this castle will help him keep this gold alive, which he needs because Snappy has most of the relics. So Elite Lightus, they have 5 Pierce Armor, and the Paladins also have 5 Pierce Armor. So they're equally tanky against arrows. The Paladins have slightly less melee armor, but they have a lot more health. And the Lightus, 16 plus 4 attack. Let's see if we can find a lonely Paladin somewhere. Wait a second, where's Snappy's army? Snappy has no army. He calls the GG. So Snappy... I think his food collection was disrupted. Oh yeah, look at this.
What?
You know, so the Cumin's not able to wall up, not able to build fortresses, and Chonchiller, he manages to pull out another win. That was a shocking upset. I thought for sure when Chonchiller decided to try and outboom the Cumins that he was in deep trouble, but he managed to come back. And that's quite impressive. Let's take a look at the statistics. Alright, so military score. Chonchiller with 240 kills to 130 deaths. So he had a really good kill-to-death ratio with those elite Litus. Buildings raised, he destroyed 21, lost 5. Snappy with 4 conversions, Chinchilla with the largest army of 62. Snappy with more food and wood and gold collected. Chinchilla, look at the disparity in the stone collected. This helped Chinchilla drag out the game until he could do what he needed to do with the elite Litus. Snappy with faster feudal age, Chinchilla with faster castle age and imperial age. Snappy with 4 relics and 1700 relic gold. Villager high of 146. Survival to finish, yes. Chinchilla 5 castles. He needed it if he were to go Litus. So at the very end, looks like Chinchilla just wore Snappy down, destroyed his military, raided his economy. All right. So guys, that is going to do it for me tonight. We have done Oladushek versus Kitsa, and we've done Snappy versus Chinchilla. I thought they were some pretty good games. I think Oladushek versus Kitsa was a little bit tough, but other than that, I thought that they were competitive. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I'm going to try to do at least one more cast for the first sprint of Alchemy League, and I hope that I will see you at the next one. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll catch you later.